What's up from my ghostly blue background? I don't have any power today. This is horrible. I think we just got an email from the school that buses are going to be late because there's a closure on my town's a circle basically. There's a closure on the road or on that side, and I was like, oh, somebody definitely crashed into an
Yeah.
electrical pole. Ugh.
Yeah. So that's just dedication on your part. So,
Yeah.
to our audience, this is how seriously Justin takes this. Like, even without power, he's going to make sure that he can record a podcast.
What's funny is I have a generator that's generating enough power to run my network, but I don't have enough power to get my laptop charged. So I'm not kidding you. I have my laptop plugged into an extension cord, which is leaning all the way that way into that bathroom over there, because for whatever reason that bathroom has power. The one thing we haven't done since we moved here is figured out what's on the generator and what's not. And at this point, I'm just keen to just get a bigger generator to not have to worry about figuring it all out.
Yeah. Yeah. In Florida, generators were a thing because
Yeah,
hurricanes,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and we had to use it almost once a year, right?
Yeah.
Now here, we've only been without power for, I would say, more than 4 hours twice, three times
You,
tops in 10 years.
when we first moved to New Jersey, when we were looking at houses, it was right after Superstorm Sandy, and the homeowner was like, "Yeah, we didn't lose power." And then 3 years in or so, it was before the kids were born, there was some other storm, I forget what, maybe it was Irene, and we lost power for 7 days. And so it took us a while to realize this, that every time the power go out, we were really just in the dark, literally, there was nothing. And so I said to Michelle in the old house, I was like, I will pay whatever it costs to not be uncomfortable ever again. And so then we
Yeah.
bought this new house, and guess what? I'm back at it, and then I have to call my electrician and be like, swap this thing out. I don't. I will pay. I'll. We have a 10 kilowatt generator. It's not enough. I need I want a 300 kilowatt generator. I don't care how much gas it uses. And the nice thing is it's not propane. It's tied to our natural gas because we have natural gas here.
Right.
So it'll run forever. Swap it out. Get in here, swap it out. Take out this pick and choose what works, what doesn't work. It's so stupid. This isn't even what I wanted to talk about today. I had a cold open today and forget it. Now it's Justin sitting. And if you're watching this at YouTube, you'll notice that my eyes keep shifting because I'm not used to recording on my laptop and just staring at the little green dot. I'm used to staring at Eric because that's where my teleprompter is lined up. And so now I'm like, ugh.
Yeah. Well, at least we can use this to reach out to APC and try and get a sponsorship.
Speaking of which, I'm so mad. I have these portable generator things, and it's been plugged in all this time, and I get it unplugged and dead. Nothing. It's waste. Waste. Oh, I hate electricity. Near, 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 near.
Customers don't want to have their support call answered by a bot. And if a real live human being answers the phone, they don't want to have to struggle to understand them. What your customers do want is a tech support specialist who speaks plainly, clearly, and has the skills and knowledge to help solve their issue. You want your customers to enjoy that kind of excellent experience. Give your customers what they want without blowing your budget by partnering with Helped. Help's US-based experts answer 24/7 by 365, serving as your help desk. Check out atmsp.link/helped. That's atmsp.link/HELPT for more info. Level up your email domain security and deliverability. Reduce business email compromise and reel in that pesky email phishing. Make DMARC a new revenue stream for your MSP. Becoming a managed service provider partner with EasyDMARC is a great opportunity for your business to boost sales and decrease risk. Your customers need DMARC. Your job is to let them know that their email domain might be at risk. Find out more today at atmsp.link/EasyDMARC. That's atmsp.link/EasyDMARC.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the All Things MSP Podcast. I'm your host, Justin Esco. With me always is my good friend, podcast producer extraordinaire, and discount rate Dumbledore, Mr. Eric Anthony.
I was wondering what you were going to come up with
I
today.
had to
So,
remember it too because I'm sitting here with no power, and normally I have multiple screens, and today I'm on my laptop, and all of my ChatGPT subscriptions are on like another monitor. It's ridiculous, and I forgot for a second. But enough making fun of you and your beard. We have a guest today. I love it when we have a guest. Let's bring him in here, Mr. Jackson Pavelka from Devout Consulting. Jackson, what's up, buddy?
How's it going, man?
Great. Thanks for being here. So real quick, give everybody 2 minute spiel. Who are you? What's about consulting? And then we're going to get into today what we like to call MSP therapy.
We all need therapy. My name's Jackson. We're a small boutique MSP out of the Dallas area. I started an MSP out of a desire to serve others. Went through a recovery program for addiction, and out of that, just found a real calling to take the skills that I do have and the time that I gained back from coming out of that and achieving sobriety to give to others. So I found there's a real lack of empathy in companies that want to partner with other companies in this space. There's a lot of companies that just want to come in, sit in the background, manage the IT, and and collect the paycheck. And what we aim to do is really differentiate ourselves as a business partner, as an ally to grow your business. So the ideal customer for us would be somebody that is looking to expand, looking to add locations, looking to add to their fleet, somebody that wants that we can build with, and not just sit in the background while they run their business.
That's awesome. I love that you have like a mission statement like that. I know a lot of MSPs don't have a mission statement at all, let alone a mission statement that is as grand and like altruistic as the one you're talking about. So today, as an MSP coming into the show, Eric and I like to do what we like to call MSP therapy. This is one of those episodes where you get to tell us something that happened in your business or something that's going on that you need our unbiased expert opinions on. Not that either of us are, but we'll do our best.
Yeah, I think the most potent example of something where I think myself and a lot of other younger MSPs probably need some help is, what does the right customer look like?
Mm,
For me, I had a customer reach out to me. That customer reached out through our website, said, "Hey, I've been hacked. I've had my identity stolen. I need my devices secured and my identity reclaimed." And obviously, it was a lot longer than that. It was like a spew of consciousness, right?
right.
One
yeah.
of those messages, and so I called this customer and I said, "Hey, yeah, we'd love to help you. Can you tell me a little bit more about your issue?" She said, "Actually, I don't need your services anymore." So, oh, okay, great, and kind of just walked away from it, but I kept it as a lead. About 4 weeks later, you send a follow-up email. "Hey, just wanted to make sure you got everything resolved. We're here to help if you need anything." She was like, "Oh, I'm at the Apple store right now, and I never got any help. Can you come down to the Apple store and meet with me?" I was like, I mean, I guess the Apple Store is not far from my house. I want to please the customer, so I go out to the customer. I let her tell me about her issues, and it was a very challenging situation. I really empathized with this person. She had three businesses, um, and all of them had been compromised by somebody that was intentionally stalking this person online, and she wanted me to help restart everything. So the long and the short of it is, tried to implement some basic security controls, making new Apple accounts, going analog, trying to make sure that she wasn't putting new credentials in compromised devices, things like that. So we got her all set up, spent about, 5 or 6 hours with this client. Um, and then over the course of about 36 hours, the client started to back away, started to get accusatory, started to say things along the lines of, "I don't trust you. I have reservations about you. Something's not right here." Accused me of compromising her accounts after I created the accounts with them. Just very paranoid, and clearly needed more help than I could offer. But
Right.
now I was stuck with the client, right? And so I'm I was between a rock and a hard place, and I was like, well, what do I do with this situation? Because I want the best for this person. I empathize with this person. You know, I have a family member who had their identity stolen. And so, I really empathize with the challenge of that. And but there wasn't really anything I could do because this person didn't want to be helped. But now I'm in a managed services agreement with this person that either of us can cancel. But as a young MSP, your inclination is to, well, I don't want to lose the revenue, right?
Yeah.
And so it's just a really hard spot to be in. And I think a lot of MSPs find themselves in that place in an early spot.
Yeah. So
Even in the later one, like we get the call. Sorry, Eric. we get the calls all the time of people saying like, "Hey, I've been hacked" or whatever it is. Or what you, Eric? What you want to say?
well, I was just going to say, while you were saying that story, I started channeling my inner Brad Gross, and I was wondering if
Did you
you,
turn the seat around and sit on it like he does in every presentation that he ever does?
um, I was thinking like, because all of this happened so fast, did you actually have time to get a managed services agreement? And then you answered that question by, saying you did. And because I was like, man, this is a really sticky situation to be in if you don't have a
Yes.
managed service agreement to kind of outline the relationship, set the expectations, and protect you from the risk of. And I don't know this person at all, but there are people out there who can turn around very quickly and become a really big risk.
Right.
And so my concern was for you, like, wow, how much risk did he just open himself up to without a
Yeah,
managed service agreement? But thankfully, you did have one.
Well, and
yeah.
Brad was really helpful in the beginning for me. Thankfully, I have some really good people around me giving really good advice. Justin!
Yeah.
Um,
I'm
and
pretty sure I
uh,
told you to use Bradley by winning. Well,
and
so
went straight to Brad at the very beginning.
having the contract in place obviously is the base part, right? Like, especially there's a lot of people who work with home users because this person sounds like, even though she had business, it sounded like it was a one person shop. I know a lot of consultants who work with home users who don't put agreements in place with those home users, and they 100% should. It doesn't have to be as tight as a full blown MSP contract the way Brad does, but there could be language in place to make sure that you're protecting that. The other thing, let's go back to the actual customer in question, right? The amount of times people call us with, "Help me, my phone has been hacked." We as the consultant know, especially on the Apple side, your iPhone did not get hacked, right?
Right.
Like there is a 99.99% chance your phone did get hacked because the phone is built in such a way that it does that. Like this comes to me a lot, which is if you ever go look at TeamViewer in the App Store, it has like a point 0.4 star rating. And all the comments are like, "This program stole money from me." No, the threat actors used TeamViewer to get on your computer, stole the money from you. It's not TeamViewer's fault, right? Same thing here. I had a potential client one time call, and he's like, my all my phones now have, it says device management. I've never enrolled my phones in device management. I'm like, dude, it's just a label. It's on the. He's like, it was never there before. I'm like, did you update recently? Because it's there now. Like, there's nothing in it. So there's a mix of lack of knowledge and fear that I think a lot of people run into, and they immediately go to the unhacked. I, at this point in my career, if someone calls and says, "My phone has been hacked," I go, "I'm not the right person for you." And they go, "Well, who can help me?" And I go, "You should go to the Apple store because that's not going to be my problem." Right. Um, but I know, and I've had this conversation with other people, like, should those who believe that they got hacked, and look, there's times where people do get hacked, right? I'm not going to say that, but those people who believe that they got breached, should they just go unanswered, right? Is everyone capable of getting help from us as MSPs? Or are some people just like so far over the deep end that they're just not capable of receiving help? This particular person that you're talking about seems to be the latter, but you didn't know that until after you started working with them because they went to the Apple store. The Apple Store recommended you. I'm assuming that's how you got involved in the first place, and you want to do good by both by the client and the store because you want the store to keep recommending you, right? There's the problem that I see here is that there's nothing that you could have done that would have made the client happy. Because for someone to turn around in 36 hours like that, unless you blatantly did something, which maybe you did, and you're not telling that part of the story, but I'm assuming you didn't like run over their dog, right?
No, no, I did not.
Right. Like, and unless like we all sometimes deal with like high net worth clients, unless you like, I don't know, now you seed me their money out of their bank account or something like that, uh, you probably didn't do anything wrong. And so this person just sounds like they're on the wrong side of that part where like some people are just not, I don't want to say they're not capable of getting help. I just like they're incapable of like receiving that help.
Right.
Yeah,
I see
a
you
lot of
nodding, Eric.
people,
You want to help me with this one.
well, a lot of people like that, they go through something that's traumatic, like they did, and they get very cautious, at that point, and it can cause them to have these, I'll just call it a lapse in behavior, right? This is not their normal, but because they're so traumatized by the events that happen, I mean, this is a lot to have at risk. Three businesses, probably three business, accounts plus a personal, account, and who knows what else. So financially, the risk is big for
Right.
this person. And so I can understand kind of where they're coming from, but you can't, how do I want to say this? You can't be an island when you're going through something like this, because you cannot anymore solve this problem without the right people. And obviously hiring somebody like an MSP to help you through a situation like this is just something that we have to do today.
Yeah. But then the problem is that, you hire an MSP, which is what this person did. They hired Jackson's company, and then they go, you know, completely nuts on them. Using Jackson's words here, Jackson said, this person said, I don't trust you all of a sudden. Part of me, and look, you and I know each other, Jackson, so it's cool, but like part of me goes, what made them trust you in the first place that broke, right? It may not be anything you did. The person the reason that they trusted you was the Apple Store recommended you. And if the Apple Store recommends you, there's your hand from God, right?
Right.
Tim Apple said you, Jackson, are the right person for this job. Cool. Something happened that flipped it. I remember years ago, I had a client up in the Bronx, and she swore her computer was being super weird and all this stuff, and I felt bad, right? It's the same thing. I think the problem is that we empathize with people who can't use
Yeah.
technology. We want to help them with their technology. And as I'm sitting there and I'm working on her computer, which turned out she had 6,000 items on her desktop, that apparently
Wow.
on Mac, when you have that many items, your screen just goes blank. Who knew? I clicked on a blank area and an icon showed up, and I was like, oh, I can speed this up real fast. But she's telling me a story about how her son was infiltrated by the CIA and President Obama is against them and all this stuff. And I'm sitting there going, I need to leave, right? Like, I'm going to help you with your computer and you're going to pay me right now. Otherwise, I'm never going to see it. And I need to leave. There is a point where we want to help people, but sometimes they are incapable of being helped. And there's also a point where we cannot risk our own safety, business wise or personal, to help everyone.
Right.
And we as MSPs, much like any other industry, have to know when to walk away from something, right? I, at this point, having been in this for 17 years, don't even engage with it anymore because I've run into that same situation you've been in. And my advice is the next time someone calls you saying, my phone has been hacked, you can be like, the Apple Store is on Northwest 12th. They'll help you. I don't know where it is. I just assume it's Northwest 12th because I think everything in Texas is like that. San
Yeah, I mean,
Antonio Drive. I don't know, whatever.
yeah, I think learning to walk away was the big takeaway here. And learning when that point is. I think it's going to be different for everybody.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, I think especially as a young startup, someone that's newer into the business, it can be so easy to get in this place where you're like, well, if I just get over this hump with this person, then
Yeah.
the MRR will start coming in, or then I'll be able to actually make an impact in their life, or then they'll listen to me. And it's just, you can't change people. Uh,
That is correct. You cannot
you
change
know,
people, and you especially can't change people in the position we're in talking about their technology, because technology for certain people, it's such a minute part of their entire life. Like, no one's going to come into my house and tell me that if I switch from Mac to PC, that I'm going to be a better father to my kids, right? Like, they don't correlate to one another. So helping somebody with their technology isn't necessarily going to make their like life better or their ability to do anything um related to any like outside of it. You know what I mean? Um
right,
uh yeah, I know. Learning to walk away is the big takeaway. Learning to not engage in the big takeaway. I honestly believe, and I know this is going to sound messed up, and Eric's going to hate me for this one. Everybody has to get burned once, because you can hear me say walk away from those crazy people, but some people have a better threshold for some crazy than others, and if you get burned once, you've learned what your threshold is to know
right.
when to say no.
Yeah.
Eric, you're pissed. I can see it in your face.
No, because you're right. Like
Oh,
on the back end,
oh.
when you don't see it ahead of time, right?
Yeah,
You're never going to prepare for that scenario until it happens the first time.
right.
And so you're absolutely right. But I think it's trying to prevent that in the first place by doing the right discovery. Now, in this case, you didn't have time to do that. Like,
Right.
and these things happen. People call you with emergencies like that. One of my classic stories that I love to tell is I got a new client because their water heater was in their server room and it exploded. Right. And that was a difficult situation.
Yeah.
Their stress level was through the roof. My stress level was through the roof. And at the end of the day, I had a customer for life. Right.
Yeah.
But a lot of times it doesn't happen that way because they call you in to save the day. And if you don't save the day, it can turn on you pretty quickly. And so that's where some of the danger comes in too.
I want to add on that. It's not just saving the day. It's saving the day in the way they expect you to be saving the
Yeah.
day.
Very true.
There's like
Very
right
true.
there's an expectation level here that you're gonna do stuff, and this person turned on you because they think that you're already now part of the problem, and in their mind, you, the specialist, are coming in as a threat actor, which is why, like earlier when I was talking about the team viewer thing, the joke about that is that like these scam companies will call being like, "Hi, I'm the expert from
Right.
XYZ company, and I'm going to help you." And then lo and behold, they've now stolen money from you. So, Jackson, great question. Thanks for being here for MSP Therapy. Um, I think that the takeaway here is that people need to learn what their threshold is. They need to understand. And, it's okay to say no. Like, I know a lot of people want to chase the money as well. It's okay to say no, because chasing the money doesn't always lead to actual money, right? Like,
Right.
your livelihood matters more. So thanks for being here, Jackson. Much appreciated. If you want to be on an episode of the All Things MSP Podcast or MSP Therapy, check us out at facebook.com/group/All Things MSP. DM Dumbledore over there and see if you can get him. He'll get you on the show. Check us all out. And what my kitchen doesn't look like is I got sky blue backgrounds. YouTube.com/@allthingsmsp. Follow us on all of your favorite podcasting tools. Like, review, subscribe, ring the bell. I don't even know what kids do anymore. Skibbity Toilet, the podcast. I don't know, something like that. Eric, any final words before I say goodbye?
The only thing I would like to say is I think we want to have Jackson on again because I really would like to dig into what he talked about in the beginning about the empathy piece. So maybe we'll have him back.
Yeah, let's do that. Love it. Well,
Awesome.
for everybody, that was Jackson. That's Eric. I'm Justin. Bye.
Thank you for listening or watching the All Things MSP podcast. If you liked this episode, go ahead and give us a thumbs up, hit that like button, and consider subscribing to catch all our weekly episodes. And from your host extraordinaire, Justin Escar, and myself, Eric Anthony, your humble producer and All Things MSP founder, thank you very much for spending your time with us. If you are not aware, All Things MSP started as a Facebook group and now supports over 6,000 members. We also have a LinkedIn page for those of you who don't do Facebook, and make sure to check out our YouTube channel for even more content. A special thank you to our elite sponsor, CoreView, helping you manage your Microsoft 365 tenants instead of them managing you. And a big thank you to our premier sponsors, EasyDmark, Helped, GoesInta, MoveBot, and Nodeware. And thank you to the rest of our sponsors. Without sponsors, we could not do what we do for the MSP community. Please consider checking them out. The All Things MSP Podcast is a BizPow LLC production. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not reflect the thoughts and opinions of any employer, vendor, sponsor, or random taxi driver in the Metro DC area. Be sure to join us next week for another exciting episode.